Here's Brody Brazil.
My overwhelming thought on the Sharks right now is that they are definitely not the same team from last season. Clear to me already a dozen games in the way they've won certain games and even the way that they've lost certain games. I can only think of once, maybe, the Montreal game where they were totally out of it. The Boston game, they dug themselves, was it a 3 or 4-0 hole? Can't even remember anymore, but they fought back. Like the Sharks of prior seasons didn't do that type of stuff. The Sharks of prior seasons, the last 2 prior seasons, they don't come out tonight and win this game against Calgary. They're shorthanded. Calgary makes that push in the second period. They bend, and ultimately they break in prior seasons. Tonight, they bent, and then in the third period, they bounced back. And they outshot the Flames 14-10. They were just diligent. They were persistent. And look, goaltending and fresh blood and new faces, and it was Hill tonight, but it's been Reimer so far, or also in the mix so far this season. You have a lot of pieces of evidence that this Sharks team does not have to struggle in 2021-22. I'm not saying after a dozen games I've seen enough that they're going to the playoffs and that the mission is accomplished and that this is instantly going to happen. I'm not putting money down on this. I'm not going that far in any regard. But I want to simplify it and just say what I have seen through these first dozen games tells me this group has it together, and they might struggle at some point. They might struggle mightily at some point, but they already have developed a recipe and a calling card and a formula, like whatever you want to say. They've developed that chemistry and that approach and that togetherness, that cohesiveness, man, I'm using a lot of words, so that they can sustain this through the course of a season. Again, I don't know how it ends. I don't know how the rest of the division shakes out. I don't know the story of this Sharks season. But what I am telling you here early is I have seen enough to tell you that they don't have to struggle as they did in the prior 2 seasons. And it's hard to exactly put your finger on what is that different. I mean, the roster is not entirely different. They did not overhaul this thing. Their goalies are brand new. You have some new veterans on the team with Bonino and Cogliano, but to be honest, I don't think at all you've seen the best of their contributions as Sharks. You've now missed a player like Erik Karlsson for 5 games. You've missed a Šimek. You've missed a Timo Meier. You've missed a LeBanc. You've missed a Vlasic. Regular players in your lineup now for almost half of the season, right? They've missed 5 games, and the Sharks have played a dozen. We're coming up on that. And also, to throw this into the equation, and I realize it's a whole separate conversation, but their best player from last year is part of the team technically right now, but I don't know that he's like on the team, not on the roster. I'm talking about Evander Kane. So there's that whole thing going on. So again, they're different enough, but they're not like night and day. Oh my gosh, they retooled the roster. They're same head coach, couple new assistants in there, new voices. I think John McLean right now, what he's done in taking over this team as the temporary head coach, also extremely admirable. That's not getting enough play right now. I can't wait to see what this is like when they're full strength and they have options. And now some of these young guys have come in and there's a little competition, but it just makes you a deeper and a wider team. You're going to need that through the course of 82 games. You don't want to be missing a couple guys and now you don't know where to turn. So the main picture, the main theme here is that the Sharks of this season have already proved through, a sixth of their schedule that they don't have to be that struggling team of last year. They have separated themselves from the struggles of last year. Again, doesn't mean that they can completely avoid that at all times, but they don't have to be last year's team anymore. So I'm excited to see where this goes next, what this season's going to be like, and how they can continue to make it interesting.